biggest focus was the business component. So I managed the overall business, which meant relationships with all the studios which we have, commercial aspect, managing our partnership and strategic partnerships with our OEM partners as well as the app stores, and the revenue and the live operations business, and the marketing. So that's what I've been managing for a while. We've really grown as an organization in last 3 years, where we have adapted from being just a developer to a publisher, which is a huge change, and a big component for us was being a developer and a publisher for the global market, because the requirements for addressing the Western markets, the US and the other East European markets is different. From the game requirements, the game genres, how you address the markets are very different, which is what we've been really focused on for the last 3.5 years. And the team has done a great job in trying to adapt and be successful in those markets. We've always believed that brands and IPs are a big differentiator for us. We are one of the key partners for most of the studios, I should say all of the studios globally, and the other brands. They see and work with us because we understand how to work with brands and IP. It's just not about taking an IP and just building a game. Both the components have to be there. You need to understand the ups, the benefits, and what are the restrictions of an IPs, which the team has done a great job in trying to build that. And the second biggest component why we've been successful and why we're successful partners, why they want to work with us, is because we're building great games. We're not just building games just and putting an IP on it and just launching it. These games stand on themselves. If you look at it, all our global games have a 4.5+ star rating, which is a big requirement from a development point of view. So I think nothing changes actually. If you look at our plan for next 12 to 36 months, the plan is to double, if not double, at least triple or 4 times down. We're really going down and continue to expand our portfolio significantly. I believe Indian gaming market is a forefront of a huge change. There's tons of new handsets, new smartphones are coming down the market. The market is changing from a feature phones to a smartphone devices, and I believe the Indian consumers are actually learning to play games on these devices. Most of us did not play on console when we were kids. We've been exposed more on the mobile devices. So, and that is going to expand and not go down. So the exposure of the market, the expansion of the market is going to happen through these bodies, Fiki, NASCOM, potentially, with the Pocket Gamer and the S-Star. We have to be these leaders in leading the market and explaining why gaming is a factor. One thing if we can do together as a team is, I think we need to share more. If you look at it in the other countries and other industries, the sharing happens a lot more naturally than it happens in the Indian gaming community and Indian mobile ecosystem. And I think all these conferences are bringing people together, forcing them to talk to each other. Sharing is a great factor. So we are on a huge growth trajectory, or we've had a great last 2-3 years as a company. We had a great with Real Steel franchise. We are hitting about 70 million downloads overall. There is one of the few companies in India, I wouldn't say one of the few companies in India which are hitting about 100 million downloads overall. It's a huge advantage, which I believe which will take us to this fiscal year. How do we take these consumers? Because these are our players, consumers, or like what we are doing. If we continue to do what we are doing, if we continue to expand, beyond this little bit of genres, I believe we understand the action brawler category. How do we expand into other genres? That's something which we are looking at. I think in the next few months we will announce few big plans of the big brands and big IPs, also along with new genres which we're getting into. So from a global perspective, bigger IPs, smartphone IPs, that is, I think we have a very clear path and strategy for next 12 to 4 months. The plan is to continue to do what we have done and do it, and expand on that. One thing which we have not done as a company is we haven't focused much on the Indian smartphone market. We were a fairly big player in the feature phone business till about 18 months ago. While the market was in transition, we were more on the wait and watch. With this change, I think one thing which we are doing is we are refocusing on the Indian market. We are looking at, and we believe the market is ripe to come back and start investing in this. So it will be leveraging our experience of freemium market. I think we've been there, we have a whole studio in Pune which understands freemium. There are not that many companies out there who understand how to get to the users, get the right engagement, right, get the right, retention in the game. And if you address either of those, I mean, monetization can be addressed. We're looking at some very, very creative ways of how to launch games in India, which will help us monetize. I think we're going to announce in next few months again a very clear objective and a strategy for India, where we're saying we're going to get the right engagement, we're going to get the right number of downloads, and if we get either of those, I think we can really get monetization to work in the marketplace as well. Thank you so much for coming here and being part of the Reliance Games and Zapak and Reliance digital journey.